I thought, obviously, give them credit. He's down some bodies, a couple starters, and then a couple bench guys that I think are integral parts of their team. I think John does a great job. Really good coach. Runs great offense. His teams are smart. They're skilled. They've got some toughness about them, and he does a terrific job. So, give them credit for coming in here with bodies down. I've been there before, and I thought they really competed. Obviously, with those bodies down, you'd have to ask them, but I would assume that's why he played more zone. They had played 9% of their possession zone coming into tonight's game. I would say probably 80% of them were zone tonight. Thought our offensive attack against it was really good. Obviously 25 assists, made 12 threes, had multiple double-figure scores. Was pleased for the most part on that in the floor. Offensive rebound was better in the first half than the second half, but there were only 11. We only missed 11 shots in the second half, so there wasn't a lot of opportunities there. Defensively is another story. I didn't like our care factor for that end wasn't high enough. Execution was poor. I didn't think we were determined enough on that end, nasty enough on that end, and that'll come back to bite us. I told him that after the game. We look like at times like a team that just thinks we'll just outscore you, and that's a bad recipe for overachieving and reaching your potential. You got to be able to play both ends of the floor. So I was disappointed with our defensive impact tonight. Now, it did get better. They were shooting 80+% 5 or 6 minutes into the game. It did get better as the game went on. I thought our changing defenses were good, but we got to get a lot better at that end.
Hey, John, this might be exactly what you just touched on, but the 15-2 run to end the first half, was that defensive driven?
Yeah, I think so. And then obviously we made some shots, and took really good care of the ball. I think our changing defenses were a big part of that. I thought our zone press, and then I thought the zone that we played was effective and was a big part of that run.
What do you think of Amani 1 point short of his career high, which he set last weekend?
Well, I think he's playing really well. I mean, takes what's there. It's a luxury that he can pass the way he does. He's 4-to-1 assist to turn. He's been making pretty good decisions, been active, can score it different ways, free throw line, rebounding, inside the paint, threes. He's really developed a great deal, from where he was when he started as a freshman.
How much has, taking 2 or 3 threes a game been an emphasis for him? How much has it been something he's worked on?
Yeah, I mean, I think whatever the average is, but, I don't even tell him to take 2 or 3. I tell him when he's open to let it fly. The other night I think it was 7. It was 4 for 7. So if he's open, we got every guy on our team, if they're open, we want them to shoot it. As long as it's a good one and they're open and it's in their wheelhouse and, what we got up 18 in the first half and only 11 in the second half. But I thought our attack in the paint against the zone, we were able to get some interior stuff in the second half.
What did you think of Sharon's performance tonight?
I thought he was good. Made great decisions. Really proud of the 6-to-0 assist-to-turnover ratio. Thought he took good shots. Thought he played hard tonight without fouling. The other night he got a little bit of foul trouble against Milwaukee. Had 3 fouls in the first half, which limited his minutes a little bit. Tonight I thought he played hard and created some disruption and physical without fouling, which was big.
When a team goes heavy zone against you, what are some of the things you emphasize?
Well, we're getting ready to see 40 minutes of the matchup zone on Saturday in New Orleans, so I don't want to give away all the secrets, Nate. But, obviously any offense you run, you want to provide rim pressure. You've got to attack the paint and the rim, whether that's via the pass, the dribble, cutting, whatever that might be. I thought our ability to do that tonight was pretty good.
We talk a little bit about Sharon. Just what do you think of his role this season as he's kind of developed from last year to this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's gotten better. Obviously he's worked really hard to take steps like all of them have, but he provides shooting, the ability to score double figures on any given night, like all the rest of those guys. Pesky defender. I think he really has a niche with that. where he can cause disruption as a defender, which is an unbelievable superpower to have. Reminds me a little bit of how T.J. McConnell is in the NBA for the Pacers in that regard. So that's a huge asset. And then he's just so competitive and tough. Body's gotten stronger, and he's continued to develop in the area of playmaking. So he's made steps and he works at it. Hard worker, So you combine his character with his work ethic and his care factor, then that's the type of guy you love to coach, number one. And number two, those type of guys improve.
I know it's still early, but what's your kind of assessment of how the Mahaffey brothers have fit in and how they're playing for you?
Yeah, I mean, they've been great, right? They're a big part of what we do. They're athletic, they're long, they're instinctive. They can cut, they can pass, they can play inside and outside. They're very versatile. And then a lot like I mentioned with Sharon, they're got high work ethic, high care factor, and then they're just great dudes. I mean, great people. So you put all that together, well, I wish we had, I always say this about, transfers. I wish we had Evan more than 10 months, but we're blessed to have him for the time that we do. And then, Eric's now in his second year with us and obviously has grown by leaps and bounds.
And, just touching on the personal side a little bit, as a coach, can you tell and appreciate when you have a player, or in this case, two players who are son of a coach who's been really successful?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've had guys that have been well coached, and it does make a difference. Their father played at Miami of Ohio and, obviously is coached as well and coaches, and so they've been around that their whole life. And then, they played for Coach Kramer at Moeller, and he's a terrific coach. Evans had Shrews at Penn State, and then he's had Holt and Jake at Ohio State. So he's been coached, and you can tell. I mean, he's smart, knows the game. Usually when we do quizzes on basketball or ask questions, if I didn't tell him to stop answering, he'd answer every question in the locker room I ask. Somebody else answer except for Evan. He's really smart, high IQ, coachable. So I told him yesterday he's been a real blessing. So, but we've got to get better. And, he's mentioned to me, obviously he knows the defensive end is where we've got to get better. It's pretty cool. He wants to take responsibility for that into the floor, which is neat, that he recognizes that and has enough self-awareness to kind of recognize where we're at right now and where we need to improve the most. I think the other seniors know that too. And so for us, it just comes down to we got to figure out how to get stops more consistently and continue to defensive rebound the ball at a higher clip or higher rate.
Does it feel weird that your guys' next home contest is the beginning of MAC play?
It is different, yeah. I mean, this is the earliest we've played any MAC opponent. Obviously, with UMass entering the league, there's 13 teams now, and they needed to start the schedule earlier. And it is unique for sure. But, right now for us, our focus is on Tulane and making sure we're ready to go for Saturday's road game.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.